But let's focus on Hitachi Energy India now. The stock is reacting to its very strong performance in Q4. Revenue saw a good growth, margins have expanded, order inflows have surged. N Venu, who is the Managing Director and CEO of Hitachi India, joins us now to talk about that. Mr. Venu, thank you so much for joining in and congratulations on a good set of numbers. I want to start with the margins because you had guided that you will reach double-digit margins in FY25, but you've achieved that in FY24 itself. Can you tell us, with metal prices moving higher, will you be able to sustain margins at these levels? And if yes, do you have any more levers to, grow your margins further in FY25?
No, thank you very much for having you in your show, and good morning to everyone. As you have rightly said, the Q4 was a strong quarter. Our revenue, orders, and everything has really grown double digits, and that has, with the high revenue growth, has also helped us margin accretion and margin expansion. And our business is what we call as both the long cycle as well as the late cycle business. And while quarter on quarter comparison is absolutely okay, but we always look at midterm to long term view on that. If you really look at the whole of FY23 financial year, our EBITDA margin was 6.7%, and we have improved 100 basis points compared to the previous financial year in that. So the direction is that to improve the margins sustainably, 10% EBITDA level is what we are looking at it in that. So our guidance has been that we enter double-digit margin by end of FY25 is what we are looking at it. And we need to do a lot, and we're going to do that both in terms of our base orders, in terms of our service, and in terms of our exports. So these are the levers we are looking at it. I fully agree with you that the metal prices are going up. So we are taking all the necessary actions to see that our portfolio is shielded from that. We have a very strong order backlog of more than 7,200 crores, and that give a very good visibility of revenue and also margin out of that in the coming quarters.
So will you be taking any price hikes in order to push the higher metal prices to consumers? Is demand strong enough for you to pass on prices?
We will definitely, case to case basis. We have been very actively and transparently. We are working with our customers, and then we wherever we need to push it, we will be able to give this price increase to our customers. But bulk of our portfolio, what we have is also variable prices, so that way it will be shielded to some extent at least.
Okay, so there's this continuous kind of rolling price hikes, which you pass on. So it's variable contracts, not fixed price, right? Mr. Venu, hi, morning, Prashant here.
Hi, morning, Prashant.
So the segments you operate in, the demand, of course, looks very, very strong. And investors have noticed that your share price done very well, but others in the sector has also done very well. Now, could you talk to us a little bit about the opportunity size on the domestic transmission capex? The size as you see it, and how will this, some materialization timelines in that sense? When will this opportunity materialize into specific orders? If you can give us a sense.
So I'll come to your exact question to answer your question. But before that, if you really look at our last year, we had a highest base order growth. If you take out our HVDC, so we had a double-digit order growth. And this growth is across the segment. The energy transition is now a broad base. It's not only utilities, transmission, renewables, but also industry, exports. So that way, we don't have any lumpy, orders in the last years in there. So that's a very good sign for our, from orders to revenue conversions in that. So coming back to your question on that, Prashant, is that, if I take only one segment, that is interstate transmission, which government has set itself ambition of 500 gigawatt of transmission, which will give you approximately 2.4 lakh crore, which is the is the estimate from the budget from the government start by 2.4 lakh crore of the investments in that, right? So our addressable market in that is approximately anywhere between 40%, 35 to 40% in that, depending upon what kind of projects, HVDC, STATCOMs, transformers, etc. in that. And the timeline, as you know that this is a lot of acceleration is happening in that. Bulk of this ordering, in our view, will happen in the next 2 years' time in that. Of course, there also will be some tailwinds going forward to the third, fourth year. But if you really want to reach the 2030 target, our view is that bulk of the ordering should happen in the next 2 years or so. So
Okay.
that's
Sorry,
quite substantial order flows we expect.
Right. Okay. So you operate. So you said the interstate transmission market about 2.4 lakh crores.
Yeah.
You operate in within 35 to 40% of that of the value chain, about 1 lakh, about a lakh odd crores, right?
Right. Exactly.
And you're saying that ordering will happen. Bulk of it will happen in the next 2 years or so.
Right. If you really want to reach the target of 2030 target, so the bulk of ordering should happen in the next 2 years, or some of them can spill over to third year.
Could you give us a sense of what kind of numbers you're getting? I mean, you're in obviously constant touch with people on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Like, your counterparty in that sense. Could you give us a specific, not exact numbers, but in the ballpark, what should we expect over the next 2 years in this space?
Right. I know you know Prashant very well. We don't give any forward-looking statements on that. But what all I can tell you that in anticipation of the demand tailwinds, especially driven by the energy transition, we have taken a lot of actions in ramping up our expansions, ramping up, building up the new factories. For example, we opened a year before, greenfield HVDC factory in Chennai, and we opened another greenfield factory in Bangalore for the power quality. So all these things would help us in a better position to take our decent market share in those orders, and that's where we are gearing up. And in our view is that, as I said in this channel, and I continue to repeat for the sake of repeat, if the market is growing X, we want to grow higher than the market because we have taken a lot of actions and we have a full portfolio. And we also said 85% of what we produce globally, we also manufacture locally in our 19 manufacturing factories. And that would be a big support for our customers in ensuring that we supply in an uninterrupted way on this very important energy transition related portfolio.
All right. Hi, Mr. Venu. Nigel on this side, and good to see you. When I recall in September 2023, I kept pushing you whether you will get to the double-digit margins by the end of the fiscal, but you said no, it'll be FY25. So it's good to see actually that you've gone ahead and achieved that target earlier than expected. Good on you. Now, in this conversation itself, you have mentioned HVDC numerous times. And the high voltage transmission, I think there are only two players in India, if my understanding is correct. One is Hitachi, which is you, and the other one is Siemens. Is that correct, sir? Only two key players that are equipped for HVDC orders?
No, there are globally 3 players are there. So,
but in India?
Yeah. I think India also three players, at least 3 players.
All right. So that will be Hitachi, Siemens
and GE.
And GE. Okay. So 3 players are there, but I think the 2 larger players are yourself as well as Siemens. So we have got those 3 players. Now on HVDC itself, I want a few details. Your order book is 7,300 crores. Any part of that is HVDC?
Yeah, part of that, we are executing one project for Mumbai HVDC, around less than 2,000 crores is part of that.
Okay, so 2,000 crores out of the current 7,200 crores is HVDC. I'm focusing on this, less than 2,000 crores. I'm focusing on HVDC because that's where your core strength is. And as you told us as well, there could be a higher number of orders coming in from HVDC in comparison to what we have seen in the past, which is where the opportunity comes for you. Now, we're looking at a couple of brokerage notes, and they are factoring in 1 HVDC order per year that amounts to around 4,000 to 4,500 crores for the next 2 years. Is that a fair estimate? Nuvama is the brokerage note that is written, by the way, on that. Is that a fair estimate? One order you could win in the next year, 25 and 26?
What I'm saying is that, I also exactly told in the same channel that previously India used to have one HVDC project for every 4 to 5 years.
Yes.
So from there, the market has moved to have at least one HVDC project per year. So that's the market available in that. So from one HVDC per year, our focus is that in the next 2 to 3 years, the need to have at least 2 HVDC projects per year in that. So as you know, that HVDC technology invented by us 70 years back, and today 50% of the existing HVDC links in India, they run through our technology, and this is also the same globally in there. So we have a very strong value propositions and also the supply chains, and on top of that, the HVDC is a very niche technology, is a very high technology intensive technology. Today we have built the capabilities to execute end to end in India in that. So that's
Mr. Venu, we are aware of all that, sir. We are aware of most of that, and we get your justification. But I need to get this out of you. One HVDC order per year is what you could win. Is that is that a probability? It may or may not happen, but is that the target that you'll have?
The market is available, and we will definitely look forward to that.
Okay. Sir, I just had two quick questions on the export side of things as well. Earlier, you had guided for, exports being 25% of your revenues. Can you tell us any plans to ramp up your export share, and what is the kind of visibility that you have in terms of export orders? We know that they've already gone up 43% year on year, but going forward, what is the visibility?
Right. So it has gone up for 43% on year, but if you really look at the entire FY23, our exports are roughly slightly less than 30% of the total orders in that. So we will be, anywhere between 25 to 30% ballpark figures, and that's where we would like to sustain from 25 to 30% exports.
Okay, and what is the opportunity? I mean, this global transmission equipment space has been rising quite a bit. What is the global opportunity size, and how much, of that pie can you enjoy?
Yeah, the tailwinds of the energy transition is huge across the global, especially in the North America, Europe, and some of the Middle East and South Asian countries. And I also talked about our clear strategy on the exports. We have a three-pronged strategy. In some of them, we have a global feeder factories. Those products we only manufacture here and we supply across the thing. We have five of those products, in our portfolio in India. And the second one is, we have allocated markets, and that's where we have been working along with the local, sales and marketing to ensure that, we develop those markets and then supply our entire portfolio. And the third one is, we supply components to across our factories around the world. And this is where, we are ramping up some of the factories. And also we are expanding, as I told you that, we continue to expand since COVID time, and we are also expanding further on enhancing our capacities on the transformer and HVDC, etc.
Yeah. No, I mean, just to take off on that point, Mr. Venu, apart from transformers, in which other equipment or products can, Hitachi India gain market share in the parent's global supply chain? If you can give us a sense. So
I think there are a lot of areas where we are looking at it. One is that HVDC, for example, the components of HVDC to supply HVDC components, like valves, for example. So we set up our factory here. So we are looking these things not only for the Indian market, but also for the global opportunities. That's the one aspect. Then we are also looking at the STATCOMs, for example, is another opportunity. So these are...
Sorry, what was that? What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
STATCOM is a power quality solutions.
Okay.
It's called as a STATCOM. So that's also quite a big opportunity, is as part of our 500 gigawatt of interstate transmission. There's a lot many the STATCOM projects are part of those things. So that's also where we are a very big player in that market.
Okay, and that is already part of what you said is your addressable market in that 2.5 lakh crores. It's already it's kind of accounted for that. All right.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. Great conversation as always. Thank you very much, sir. And appreciate your time here on CNBC-TV18. Hope to speak with you soon again. It's a sector which is booming. And of course, Hitachi is right up there in terms of what it's been able to do, gaining share. And the market, of course, absolutely rewarding this one.